Okay, now this video is going to be me telling my story, kind of how I went from being 18, leaving school, to now being 23. Been running a marketing company for the last year that's doing over $10,000 a month. I am going to share the biggest lessons I learned along the way. I am going to break it down into chapters. If you don't want to watch any specific part and you just want to cut to where I started the marketing company and how I grew it, editor, do your thing. Leave the timestamps on the screen. Alright, I'm filming this a couple of days after I filmed all the rest of the stuff that's in the video. I was just driving to the gym and I had a thought. I was like, you know what? This actually might need to be in the video. Now, all of these lessons and everything that I'm talking about in this video, you probably already know. They're pretty simple. They're pretty straightforward. A lot of them you've probably figured out yourself, but that's the thing. I've realized that it's doing the simple things right and sticking to them that's actually made progress for me, getting ahead. It's never the big swings that I've taken at things. It's always the little chips that get me there in the end. When I was doing carpentry, I was making sure I did all the basics right and the simple stuff. That got me through. When I was doing sales, anytime I'd go and start doing all this complex shit that I had no idea about, I'd start doing fucking horribly. And when I started doing horribly, I'd go back, and as soon as I started doing the basics and just focusing on doing that, I'd start seeing good results again. It applies to every stage of my life so far. Do the basics and then the good stuff will come after that. Sometimes you do have to take the big swing and the big shot, but you don't have to make a career out of it. Every time you do the little things, it's going to compound, it's going to stack up, it is going to get you further ahead. Just focus on the basics. A lot of it's things you know you need to do. Just do the things you know you need to do and you will make progress, I promise you. This is going to be chapter 1. This is when I was graduating high school, going into a carpentry apprenticeship, and then how I ended up leaving that and transitioning into the next chapter. So going through high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And then in about year 11, I had a random thought popped into my head and I was like, you know what? I'm going to run with that. That sounds all right. That could be pretty good. So I wrote it down and I just kept that in the back of my mind. I was like, that's it. That's my plan. And it was to get a carpentry apprenticeship because I really enjoy working with my hands. Get a carpentry apprenticeship, finish that apprenticeship, get my master builder's license, start a construction company, start building houses, and then eventually, when I could afford to do so and I'd grown enough, start buying blocks of land and then taking those blocks of land, building houses on them, or residential places, or commercial, and either selling them on or renting them out and putting tenants in them. Ended up getting a carpentry apprenticeship as I was leaving school. I also did my business diploma while I was in school as well. That is not an essential thing you need to do if you want to get into business, I will say now. Did my carpentry apprenticeship. I actually loved it. I had so much fun doing carpentry, loved every single day. Even the real fucked up days, like the days that were so shit, you in the 40-degree heat in Queensland, Australia, just on roofs, hanging off the side of buildings. I had so much fun, really enjoyed it. But I hit a point where I realized that the dream that I wanted and what I wanted to go after and achieve, I did not have the capability and the skills to be able to do that at that point in time. I was an incredibly shy kid. I had zero communication skills whatsoever, could not talk to people at all. Like no confidence, just nothing. I was absolutely shit scared of talking to people and like confronting people about things as well. And I was like, fuck. If I want to do like what I'm going to do with my life, I've probably got to learn those skills. And which is when I ended up making the decision that I had to go and put myself in an uncomfortable environment to give myself the opportunity to learn those skills. And that was to go into sales, which is what the next chapter is going to be about. But the biggest lessons I learned towards the end of high school and heading into my carpentry apprenticeship was that you should learn from people who actually do the things that they're talking about, teaching you about. Biggest problem I had with teachers in school is they'd be teaching us stuff that they never actually do or never actually use. I was like, well, how does this help? Like, where's your real world experience for this? Biggest one is I had a teacher trying to convince me to go to university to get my master's in business. And I was like, all right, are any of these teachers successful business people? And like, no. I was like, right. So why would I get my master's degree in business from people who've never started, built, and ran a successful business? That just doesn't make sense to me. And yeah, I had a lot of disagreements with teachers about that. Take advice from people who have done the actual things they're giving you advice on. You're not going to take skydiving advice from someone who's never skydived. Most people just believe what other people say and never end up giving it a go. But I'll tell you, it is a lot easier to just read things out of a textbook and regurgitate those answers to other people than it is to actually get the hands-on skills and practical knowledge that you get from the real world and doing the actual thing. But most people you see on the internet as well that are talking about stuff, they never actually do the things that they're talking about, which is why I'm trying to make these videos about my personal experience and the things that I've actually done. Yeah. In year 12 in high school as well, I actually read Rich Dad Poor Dad for the first time. I'd heard a lot about it, but I'd never actually bought it. And then there was a girl I started talking to, and she's like, sent me a photo of her bookshelf, and she had it. And I was like, fuck, I've actually been meaning to read that book. And she's like, oh, do you want it? Gave it to me. I read that book. Fucking changed literally everything about my life. It 100% put me on the course to where I am now. So, girl, if you're seeing this, I hope you actually remember who you are. I'm not going to say your name, but thank you. I haven't spoken to this girl in years, since high school pretty much, but thank you. When I was working in carpentry, one of the things I did realize about the construction industry is very cutthroat. I know business as a whole is a very cutthroat thing to be in, but construction, I was seeing a real taste of just how cutthroat it is. I was seeing small businesses that we were working with and like getting subcontracted out to. We're doing work for big construction companies and just not getting paid just because they were like, no, we're not paying. And there was pretty much nothing that the small company could do. They just had to cop it and just go, fuck. Well, that invoice is 3 months overdue. Ain't shit I can do about that. And I was watching these companies go under just because of that. And I was like, fuck, it's pretty rough, which is like part of what helped me realize I need to learn a lot more and get a lot smarter with my skill set if I want to get into this game and play this game at the level that these other people are doing. About 4 months in, I started to realize that I needed to get out and learn new skills, and the biggest skill that I needed to learn was how to talk to people and get over my fear of failure and rejection. So I was like, what's the hardest thing I can do? Sales. All right, this is when we move into chapter 2. This is me, how I left my carpentry apprenticeship and got into sales and then started buying and reselling furniture. So at one point I had to take 5 days off to get shoulder injections for bursitis. Now, leading up to this, I just started redoing a resume and looking at sales jobs, and I was like, all right, I'm going to apply for a bunch. Applied for a bunch, and then I had pretty much the full week off. I got an interview at one straight away. 2 days later, went in, and I was like, fuck, I over-prepared for this interview way too much. I watched at least 20 videos about sales interviews on my phone, on YouTube. I studied the absolute crap out of them, prepared for pretty much any question they could have asked me, and I'd just started reading sales books as well. I bought Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. Fucking unreal sales book. Say what you want about Jordan Belfort, he's an incredible salesman. Really, really good at what he does. Absolutely natural. I rocked up to this interview, ended up making it through the interview stage, did a trial. It was doing door-to-door sales. Went out with them in the field, walked around with them for the day, and the guy that I was with, partnered up with, he's like, hey, I shouldn't be telling you this, but you got the job. I was like, fuck yeah, we're on. This is fucking unreal. Hell yeah. I need to quit my carpentry apprenticeship in 2 days. I'm good. Because I had one more day off after this trial day, and then I was back working in carpentry. And so I was like, fuck yeah, I'm so excited. People were all pretty much congratulating me. That night I get an email. It's like, hey, sorry to let you know you didn't get the job. I was like, what in the vanilla nut fuck? I thought I had this shit down. But turns out I didn't. I wanted feedback though, so I emailed them back straight away, and I was like, hey, thank you so much for the opportunity. Would you please be able to give me some feedback as to what went wrong, what I can do better for next time? I'd really like to earn my way in this field, and I'd really like to grow from this. And I actually got a call first thing in the morning from them, and like, hey, we're sorry you didn't get the job from us. The reason is we've got a parent company. You're going to go do an interview with them today, and it's doing cold call sales. So can you get there at 10 o'clock? I was like, shit, well, I guess I can, yeah. rocked up to that interview, ended up getting that job on the spot. So I got all that sorted, went and started my sales job. My first day, I wanted to quit so bad. It was so horrible, so hard, like way harder than I could have ever imagined it was going to be. It was fucking horrible. I was in there and I was like, nah, this is it. I'm going to quit at the end of the day. I'm going home. I'm not coming back. But I found this quote online, and this might sound corny, but I wrote it down on a post-it note every single day and stuck it on my PC in front of me while I was sitting there in the office. Every single day without fail, I'd rewrite this and I'd put it up there. And the quote that I rewrote every single day was, "You asked for this growth. Don't be surprised when it challenges the fuck out of you." I was like, you know what? That's pretty good. I'm going to keep that. And I'd write that every single day, stick it on my thing. And anytime I was having a rough day, I'd look at that and I was like, hey, you asked for this. You put yourself in this position. You did not have to do this, but here you are. And so I had a rough first couple of weeks, but I was so committed. I was showing up early every single day. I was asking my managers to look over my sales calls, to give me feedback, to telling me things to try to get better. And I just wanted to get as good as possible, as fast as I could. One thing people don't tell you is, you know why they call it growing pains? It's because it hurts when you go to grow. Like, it does. Growing pains. It's in the name. But when you want to grow really fast, you're asking for a lot of pain very quickly. So this was really, really shit. But I made a lot of progress very quickly, which I was stoked about. I went from just getting no sales, I ended up becoming rookie of the month for the company that first month, and I was over the moon. I thought I was hot shit after that. Guess what happened the next month? Did so fucking horrible. I was like, that's it. Towards the end of the month, I was like, I'm going to get fired here. I'm like, this has been horrible. I'm done. Ended up pulling it together a little bit and made more progress. I went up and up. Thought I was hot shit again. Boom, straight back down. And that kind of process repeated for a couple months. I was like, you know what? Shit. My best mate at the time ended up joining me at that job and working with me. And he's a very charismatic bloke, like really good at talking to people normally. So he absolutely crushed it. And it was hard because he'd seen me talking about how good I'd been doing. And then he started doing really good, and I started doing really shit. And I was like, shit. And then I started doing really good as well. And I was like, all right, this is fucking awesome. We were unreal in the office. We got on the global leaderboard for the company a couple times together. And we're like, fuck yeah, we're doing great. And then towards the end of that, we didn't like the direction the company was heading in. And we, once again, thought we were hot shit. So we're like, no, let's quit this. Let's just go out on our own, do our own thing. One of the biggest lessons I learned doing sales was that you really have to get out of your comfort zone to grow. Like, the further the better, but also the more it's going to hurt. Like, think of this. I went from could not talk to people, just outright refused to, just because I was so just zero confidence, to putting myself in a situation where I had to call over 100 people every single day and convince them to buy from me. That was just ridiculous, but it taught me so much. If you haven't done sales before, I highly recommend it. It will be incredibly challenging, but you'll make a lot of progress in your life if you commit to it and go all in. That was one of the other big things I learned. Just go all in. You can't half-ass it. If I had like 1 foot out the door the whole time, I would have quit straight away, because people are going to doubt you at every single step along the way. I had friends and family telling me, no, you can't leave your carpentry apprenticeship to go and do sales. It's just not going to work for you. You can't do it. You can't talk to people. It's not going to happen. My parents were telling me that I shouldn't do it. Now, I understand why they were saying that, because they just wanted the best for me. And they really, realistically didn't think it was going to work. So I really can't blame them. I really can't blame them for it. I was doing something different. When people do things different, you get judged, you get told it's not going to work. But when it does work, that's when people come out like, always believed in you. I knew you were going to do something. So what I did after sales was couch flipping. Me and my best mate that left the sales job with me, we started buying and reselling couches. Yeah, one of the people I ended up living with for 2 years or 2.5 years, I met the first week doing sales. I was there for 1 week. He was there for 1 week, and then he quit after the first. He'd been there for a while, and then I got there. I was there. We had like a 1 week overlap where we were both there at the same time. And then, we just became real good mates. Kept in touch with him. Ended up moving in with him a couple of years later. But he was couch flipping, and he was making a lot of money. And so I tried to do it halfway through sales, picked up a couch for free, couldn't sell it, no idea what I was doing. And then after we quit the sales job, called him up. I was like, hey, can we sit down and have a chat with you, see what you were doing and what we were differently to what we were doing? Because we actually want to try and do this. We need to make money now. And fucking legend of a bloke. Like, cannot thank this guy enough. He sat us down, gave us step-by-step, literally everything he does, told us what to look out for, told us what not to look out for, what videos on YouTube we should watch about it, and ended up, we started doing it, started making a fair bit of money. We started a business account together. All right, I found it. This book is from 2022. This is my planner. No, I tracked everything in this book. Drop off purple couch, $150. Drop off leather couch, $400. Remove couches for $50 extra. At the bottom, I've got the total and what the monthly target was. Yeah, one thing, if you track things, you can improve on them. That is a massive, massive lesson. If you can track it, you can improve it. I also did this in sales. I still have those books as well. Every single day I'd come in, I'd have a notebook. I'd write introduction, quarter script, half script, full script. Full script multiple times, tried to close them, sale, and how much. And each time someone would get off the phone, I'd tick which thing they were in. End of the day, I'd tally them up, see where I was doing good, what I was doing better, and also halfway through the day, I could look at that and go, shit, I've only got halfway through the script, but majority of the time today, what am I messing up in the middle of the script that I can improve on? And then it all adds up. It gives you stuff to focus on that you might not pick up on unless you're tracking it. So track your stuff, what you're doing, track it. This was so helpful. We ended up, as soon as we started tracking stuff properly and setting targets is a big one as well. We'd set targets and we ended up finding ways to hit them. At first, in about June, we'd kind of been doing it like half-assed for 6 months, and then June we're like, all right, let's be serious. How much do we reckon we can make this month? Let's go for $8,000. We ended up hitting $8,000 on the last day of the month. The last day of the month we hit $8,000. The month after that, we're like, fuck, well, let's go for $10,000. We ended up hitting $10,000 and like $500. Month after that, we went for 11. Month after that, we went for 12. We hit $12,000, and then it got towards the Christmas period, which everything completely shut down. And the next month dropped down to 8,000, and then it dropped to 7,000, and then it was dead quiet through Christmas. And then after Christmas, we kind of split off and started to do our own separate things. So we had plans to do things together in the future, like business things. We ended up both like actively going out of our way to try and find things that were different to what we had planned to do, and like we'd started doing those things individually, not together. And that's kind of what we kind of cruised apart from that. Like, it's looking back, it's just a lesson. If you're going to be in business with someone, you've got to be on the same page the whole time and 100% communicate with each other. You're in it together. And I have nothing against my old business partner. Fucking absolute legend of a bloke. But we did just start to transition and drift off into different places and do different things, which, yeah, it happens. Like, 100% it happens. But we were flipping couches together for a full year, and it was pretty fun. Had a mad time. We made a fair bit of money during that period as well, but we also spent all of it. And when it was all said and done, we split ways, there was pretty much nothing left. Some of the biggest lessons I learned during that period of flipping couches is, if you're going to be working for yourself, you're the person that's got to get up every day and decide that you've got shit to do. Otherwise, no one's going to tell you you've got shit to do. You've got to go out there and do it. Especially on those days where you just really don't feel like doing anything. You've still got to get up. You've still got to work. Otherwise, you've got no money coming in. And another lesson is, get creative. Like, really get creative. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot harder for you. We were learning negotiation tactics and using them on people on Facebook Marketplace, and they were working absolute wonders. So if you ever want to buy something on Facebook Marketplace, let me know. I'll give you a good couple one-liners to use. It's going to save you so much or make you so much. Also, if you want a full in-depth step-by-step video on how we were actually buying and selling couches, let me know. I'll make a full step-by-step in-depth one. I don't have a ute anymore, but I did flip couches for a while just with a little Mazda 6 and a trailer on the back, and it worked. Unreal. So if you want, let me know. I will also see if it still works in 2026, because I've got no idea. Now, after that, I kind of The people that taught me how to couch flip, the boys that taught me how to couch flip, gave me a call one day and asked if I wanted to move out with them, and I was like, fuck yes, let's do that. So I moved to the Gold Coast with them. We got a share house together. Lived with them for 2.5 years. Two and a half of the best years of my life. These guys are fucking amazing, and they're absolute savages. They are fucking killing it. Like, cannot stress this enough. They are killing it. They are just the best people I know. So grateful for the time I had living with them. I'm living by myself now, and they're still living in the same place. I still catch up with them all the time. Absolute legends. But when we moved out, I had zero money. I spent the last money in my bank account on bond and rent to get into the place. I had nothing left. Literally nothing. And it kind of stayed like that for the first year. I was absolutely battling being broke. Like, I was on the bones of my ass for a full year at least, with never more than a couple $100 in my bank account. A lot of the times I'd have pretty much no money, and then a couch would sell and I'd have enough money to pay rent that day and buy groceries. And I was like, shit, this is tough, but I've got to stick with it and I've got to keep going. I chose this life. This is me. Could I have been in a better position? Yes. Could I have been smarter and done things differently? Yes. Did I? No. Okay, that brings us into the last chapter that brings everything up to date, how I built the marketing company. So while I was incredibly broke, living out of home, I was also incredibly lucky. My parents, one of the companies I work for, they just secured a massive contract for work on the Gold Coast near where I lived. And my mum asked me if I wanted to do some work with them. So I was like, you know what? I enjoy working with my hands. I need the money. I didn't even know how much money it was. Turns out it was very good money. And it was night shift work. I was like, all right, I can do that. So I went, did that, labouring for on and off up until now. I'm still doing it. When I do work, I work 3 nights a week, and the project is coming to an end, so it's dead quiet. There's not much happening. There's a industry fund that gets paid into, and if I stay till the end and get made redundant, I get that money tax free. So I'm not far off getting that, hopefully. When I was doing it full time, I was making a fair amount of money. I was making just over $3,000 a week after tax, which is very high for my age, and just in general, that's a very good amount of money to be making a week. And if I could go back, honestly, I probably would have done things a little bit differently. I could have tried to go full time doing that, really locked in on that, saved as much as possible. I did the math. My living expenses at the time when I was out of home were around $700 a week, $700 to $1,000, anywhere from there. And I would have been able to save over $100,000 in 1 year if I had just very strictly stuck to that. I didn't. I did other things, and I invested some of the money. I lost some of the money. I lived, and here we are. I've got enough money. I'm all good. But I could have bought a house. I could have bought an apartment. I could have done all these things. But these are all things I could have done. I didn't, so I'm not going to worry about it. It's all good. Learn from it. And then 2 years ago is when I met my now business partner, Tim. I met him the day he moved to the Gold Coast. He's a fucking legend. And we hit it off straight away, became real good mates. And then at the end of the year, I was like, all right, I want to build a marketing company. He's like, all right, well, he's like, I'm a videographer. Let's do some filming. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do that. And so that's kind of how our company was born. It's called Peak Flow Media. We mainly specialize in photography and videography for construction companies, because that was specifically who we wanted to work with after we sat down and planned it out. Because construction companies, they tend to have money and they tend to have cool stuff to show off, and they need the marketing work. But if you've got a big social media presence in the construction industry, you've got unlimited jobs, as long as you're doing actual good work. So we really want to work with these kinds of people. So we have 2 full-time clients that we work with that pay us a monthly retainer to continue working with them. We finished a 6-month contract with them last year, and both of them re-signed for a further 6 months. We didn't increase the price or anything like that. We just wanted to stay the same. One of them is a power bank company. Fucking incredible story. We do Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for that company. We film short videos, script them out. We post across those 3 platforms. And our other company is a construction company that does formwork. we do the work for them. We go out on site, we film the cool stuff they're doing, we interview some of the boys. And the best part about the formwork companies, they're not looking for extra work. Like, they have to knock back jobs. They have to knock back jobs because they're getting too many jobs coming in, which is fucking incredible, like unreal on them. But they just want to mainly show off the company culture they've built and the camaraderie between all the boys and the cool stuff that they actually do, which really enjoyable for us because they do fucking incredible work, and they work on massive buildings, big projects. It's fun to go out of site and chat shit with everyone. And then we've got 3 or 4 clients that we do work for, like once or twice a month. They'll call us up and be like, hey, I got a project coming up, do you want to come out and film it? I'm like, yep, for sure. And there's always other little ones that come up here and there. But we got both of those full-time clients at pretty much within 3 weeks of each other, just came out of nowhere. And since then, we haven't really pushed to try and go signing any more people because Tim has his own stuff that he's working on. I've got my own stuff that I'm working on, which is the labouring work. But I also wanted to make sure we didn't grow too fast, because a lot of companies, you see it happen, they grow too fast, things get out of hand for them, and then it just crashes and burns. You know, they call it growing pains for a reason. So the quicker you want to grow, the more pain you're going to have to go through. So didn't think we were ready for that. So we haven't really pushed to grow probably as much as we could. We could be a lot bigger right now, but I do believe it would have gone pretty bad and we would have either crashed and burned or somehow pulled through. But now we've got our processes kind of down packed as to how once we start working with a company, the things we go to look at and the things we want to focus on and go from there, which is mainly the story. If you can tell a company's story and it's got a great story, something for people to resonate with, that is really powerful, and it really does move people and make them want to jump behind the story and like help the business grow. So the marketing company is making anywhere from $12,000 to $20,000 a month right now between the two of us. We haven't been paying ourselves. We've just been letting the money build up in the business account, which is pretty good. Now, we mainly do videography and photography. Tim does our on the ground filming and he does the editing. I fly the drone, which I think is pretty cool. It's fun as. And then I do all the behind the scenes stuff. So I send the invoices, I talk to the clients, I organize us to come out to site, all of that sorts of stuff. And I also do our marketing and sales, which I'm making a big push on this year. I do want to grow. I understand it's going to be hard, but I feel like we're ready, and I want to put a massive push on getting us out there in front of more people. It's part of the reason why I'm making these videos. Now, biggest thing when I started the company is I had no idea what I'm doing. Like, still, I can't act like I've got it figured out. I have not been doing this anywhere near long enough to sit here and pretend that I know exactly what's going on. You don't. And at the moment you start thinking you got it all figured out, it's when you get slapped in the face. It's happened multiple times through my life. As soon as I think I'm doing fucking great and I'm crash and I'm fucking red hot, I get slapped in the face and shit goes wrong. Also, one of the other biggest lessons I learned, if you're starting a company, you've just got to do it. You're never going to be as ready as you think you need to be. You just have to take the jump and go and do it. I promise you, you're not going to know what you're doing, but you will find a way to figure it out. And if you don't, you can always start again. Plus, you may not realize this, but your first couple clients or the first couple people you work with, you probably already know. They're probably somewhere in your phone. The construction company we work with mainly, I grew up with one of them. The power bank company we work with actually met on set at a shoot. I just started talking and the lady was telling her story and I was like, that's incredible. And then after a while she asked me, she's like, what do you actually do? Like, I've been talking for ages. And I was like, oh, I've got a marketing company. She's like, oh, I need that. Can we talk about this? And then ended up signing her as a client, and she's been fucking amazing to us, and we've done some great work for her as well. Now, something I do really want to do with the business this year is start running paid ads and building out sales funnels for our clients. Something that I personally really enjoy and find super interesting as to how it all works. And I've spent the last couple of years researching, reading books on it, even building a couple funnels and testing them and trialing them. So that is definitely something we're going to start implementing in-house first and with our clients we've got right now before we start offering it as a service to other people. But I think this video is going to be pretty damn long. I've still got no idea what I'm doing editing session. If you guys can help me figure out how to edit properly on Premiere Pro, give me some tips or anything, that would be fucking amazing. Also, if you can let me know what you guys want to see next, that would be incredible as well. Whether it's a full couch flipping video, breaking down everything and then trying it to see if it still works in 2026. If you want to see what a day looks like while I'm working in the business and trying to grow the business, let me know that as well. If you want a full breakdown of like proper in-depth breakdown, step by step, everything we do in the business, let me know and I'll do that as well. But anyways, thanks for watching to the end. If you made it this far, you're an absolute fucking legend. Hope you're getting after it. Hope you're learning. Hope things are going well for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, with the business this year, I do want to do a couple big things. I want to start making the jump into running ads and sales funnels for people, because this year with the business, there is one thing in particular I do really want to start doing, and that is starting to run ads for our clients and to help them grow and scale that way. It gives us so much more that we can go out and do. Plus, I've got a pretty good offer that I'm building out on how we're going to do that for people.